The Married at First Sight final commitment ceremony, the reunion commitment ceremony. Let's talk about the final episode of the season, by the way. So, Jono and Ali show up together as Jono and Ali, but Jono and Lauren have to get up and do the final commitment ceremony thing where they rewatch their love story and everything. Total cringe. How painful of a situation is that? Lauren and Jono need to get up as a broken up couple and basically watch the story of their relationship in front of Ali. I just wanted to cut to Ali so fucking hard whenever Jono and Lauren were actually happy together. And I think it's really interesting because you can kind of tell that Jono has been feeding Ali a different story, or Ali and Jono have been kind of living in this mutual fantasy of like, our exes were the worst, we never cared about them, we never liked them, and now we're truly happy.
You had to kiss a toad.
You had to slay a dragon.
I had to slay a dragon.
And I think it was really funny to kind of see here all the evidence that Jono did actually want to try and the way that Ali and this whole text message thing kind of came into play. So first off, in this montage, it did actually open with Lauren being an absolute nightmare to Jono. Jono didn't deserve that in those early weeks, and it could be argued that this set up the foundation for how this relationship went.
He's just like, he's probably too nice for me. You give me no passion, you give me nothing, you just give me like autopilot.
But it gets really juicy where basically they come back from that, they bounce back from that, and it shows that Johnny and Lauren start sleeping together around homestays, and it cuts to Ali, and it feels like to me that maybe he's been feeding Ali a different story about how good their relationship was, or maybe about whether they were sleeping together or not. It's really interesting to watch. Ali looks fucking cut. What I find even more telling though is when this text message relationship, this cheating scandal actually comes up in the Lauren and Jono story replay, Ali looks happy. All right, she's bought into this picture as the other woman, as this big scandal, as this big shameful thing, and it cuts to Ali and she's like, oh, this is about me now. How great. Wow, 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 wow. It's like, babe, read the room. Like, everyone is unhappy with you. She is cracked. Can I just say, like, I thought Ali was this sweet, like, hard done by woman. She's a bit nuts, isn't she? Like, she is taking joy in the discomfort of the situation. In the dinner party, I forgot to talk about it, her sitting there going like, oh my God, I am so happy. I couldn't be happier. It's like, babe, save it for the car ride home. Like, what are you doing? Have some empathy for the other people in the room. Just super telling that Ali's sitting there going like, oh my God, this is about me now. Wow. Now, all this being said, I need to give massive credit to Lauren here. So Lauren actually talks about how she feels about the whole thing. And she basically says, look, like, I can deal with Ali and Jono being together. I just don't like how it was handled. I wasn't told, I wasn't given notice in advance. I was snubbed by Ali. Ali didn't say hi back, and just they were laughing about it and gloating. Mad credit to Lauren because she verbalized herself really well here.
Nothing I did was right. And then that
I swear to God, don't try to deflect onto me. That's so unfair.
I'm not deflecting. It
Don't frolic in here with someone else and then try and sit here and blame it on me. Just saying that because you walked in with Ellie and we're all happy for you to be with Ellie. You don't need to keep doing this. You're just digging yourself in a bigger hole.
I'm not at all.
You really are.
And I actually want to give more credit to Lauren just for a bit. I think Lauren has an incredible vocabulary, which she's shown off a few times. I think she is smart. She's just very loud and very boisterous. And I think it's really interesting to see her kind of pull that back a bit and actually do some self-reflection and talk about the fact that like she got in her own way at certain points. Really mature, a lot of humility. And it takes a really big person to say that they've got inner work to do and inner healing to do when they've been so clearly wrong. So mad credit to Lauren. I love what she said here. And actually another really interesting telling moment is she talks to the experts about the fact that Jono actually reached out to her after the dinner party and in a friendly way said, hey, like maybe talk as if you're talking to a judge next time and people will be more receptive to your points. Found it really interesting. And what I found interesting was Lauren actually appreciated that advice and Jono seemed to actually be looking out for her. So what that tells me is maybe Jono was a bit more civil and does actually like Lauren a bit, and Ali's just been in his ear like, oh, she's the worst, isn't she? We are so much better without our exes. Now, don't get it twisted. I am not taking Jono off the hook. He has been really, really bad. However, I do think he's been noticeably crueler since pairing up with Ali, and we've seen in the car and everything. So I can't help but feel like Jono is being at least a little egged on by Ali and not being put in check, and that shows here because he still clearly has it in him to be kind and check in on Lauren. Mad credit to Lauren for being so mature. Next, we have the beef between Cassandra and Sara. So basically, Sara's sitting there with Tim and Cassandra just like calls her out and says, you're nasty, you're fake, you're one of the nastiest people I've ever met.
There's nothing honest about her.
How would you know that? Do you know me?
You've just been playing games.
That's
bullshit. Do you know my story? Have you asked a single personal question about me?
I don't want to get to know you. Trust me, I've seen enough.
I don't know what your vendetta is or why you care so much about hating me.
You don't have a nice thing to say.
You don't know me.
And it kept cutting to ad break. I'm like, ooh, what's the secret she knows? What's she gonna say? And turns out she doesn't have any new information. I think Cassandra just went home and reflected on how nasty Sara was in that whole cheating scandal and even earlier with the date situation with Tim, and has just started roasting Sara. And honestly, I'm here for it. I think she's getting revenge for how Sara treated her throughout the experiment. Now, I've done a TikTok exploring this topic. This is a perfect example of someone building social credit. There are few people in the Married at First Sight cast this year that could get away with going in on someone this hard with no mercy. But Cassandra can, because throughout the season she's been lovely and sweet and polite. So when she starts saying something mean or combative, you go, I wonder why she's saying this. Where's this coming from? But let's basically summarize it here. Essentially, what I think was going on and what I think came out in this little moment is a subtle beef that has been brewing between Cassandra and Sara. And I think the beef is based on two reasons. Now, one, I do actually think there is potential that Cassandra is being racially discluded. It is important to note that basically Sara and the popular girls clique excluded her from the jump. That's only speculation, but that might have started the rift. Maybe they are subconsciously less inclined to include her. But also, I think Cassandra showed when she stuck up for Tim in that whole date situation.
I was let down about you bailing on the third date in a row.
If I planned 3 dates for Trist and he cancelled every single one of them, I would be so upset. Like I would take it personally. I would be like, this person doesn't want anything to do with me. I'm trying my hardest. So I kind of just felt for Tim. He's trying. You've cancelled on 3 dates. Your purpose and priority is your husband to be here and to try and make it work. Thank you, Cassandra.
She isn't just going to be a blind girly girl who sticks up for women no matter what. And I think Sara expects that even when Sara is in the wrong. In that whole planning dates situation earlier in the season where Sara was objectively in the wrong and being totally cruel and gaslighty to Tim, all of her friends were like, oh, there's always two sides to every story and Tim shouldn't have got worked up and I hope Sara's okay, let's go check in on her. Whereas Cassandra was actually taking Sara to town and being like, hey, if this was gender swapped, we'd really be giving Tim a hard time. This is really not on. We're all here to try for this experiment. Cassandra went in on Sara then, and Sara was really rude and really cruel and did that whole like name correction thing. So I think Cassandra from there wasn't happy with Sara. And yeah, as a result, we never saw Cassandra be included in that group. We saw that group hang out when they were shit talking Collins.
Count to 3 and let's count to say your name and say that. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Collins. What was that? I am sorry.
Cassandra was always on the sidelines and it did really feel like the popular group leaving out the others. So yeah, I think Cassandra had every right to go in on Sara. I also think there might be some projection here. I don't think Cassandra is like in love with him or having an emotional affair or anything. However, I do think Cassandra was let down by the experts being paired with Tristan. Now, she was really sweet and really caring for him, but like Cassandra was wasted on Tristan and I think Tim was wasted on Sara, whether he realizes it yet or not. And I think Cassandra is sitting there on the sidelines going, God, I would kill for a man like Tim, and Sara is literally gaslighting him and manipulating him and cheating on him. So I think every single reason I just listed here basically just came out in that moment and she was going in. And yeah, like Sara was a really nasty woman. Like, let's not get it twisted. Next, let's talk about Tim and Sara. Basically, Tim gives a really impressive, well-worded explanation of what he said to Jono in the previous episode about how the fact that he had second doubts, but he's really glad he did make that choice because they're in a good place now.
I told Jono that if I had a bit more time to process the decision, it might have been a different decision. As in, like, I might not have said, let's keep going with this.
To reiterate, I get why Sara was hurt in that situation, but she conducted herself like a total nightmare yet again. But good on Tim for clarifying that. They're together in this show. I believe they're no longer together in real life. Spoilers, but I mean, the show's over now. Timothy and Lucinda was weird. Timothy basically gives Lucinda false hope and sits there and goes like, yeah, maybe one day, like, as I said, this isn't the end of our story. This is the beginning. Dude, what are you doing? You don't like Lucinda. You got out of it clean. She still likes you as a friend. Leave it. Like, you don't like her that way. Do not give her false hope. It just feels cruel and weird. And yeah, like, we see them be the most intimate they've been all season, where she's like putting her hand on his chest all seductively, but it's like, no, because once you move in together, he'll have another freak out and tell you to fuck off. Like, you get what I mean? Like, you don't want that guy in your life.
Hey, Tim. I just don't want to talk. Me.
Credit to the show, I found that section where he was rewatching their story really heartbreaking. He saw the effects that his trauma and his grief was having on this gorgeous, beautiful woman. She saw how much he was struggling. Really effective and really haunting. And like, credit to Married at First Sight. I know it's a reality show, but I loved all those shots of him essentially hiding behind Lucinda.
And
I don't want to pretend this is like highbrow art or anything, but like actually really touching, really sweet and really powerful. A really good, interesting moment for Married at First Sight. Next, we have Jack and Tori. Fucking hell. All right, this is going to be my hottest take. Leave Jack and Tori alone.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Every single week, they've been like, we're happy. We know he said bad shit. Please, all right? And they come to this reunion apparently after having a really good time off camera. And basically the experts just do not seem interested at all in whether they're actually doing well. Tori sits there and goes, yeah, we're doing really well. And I think the pressure of the experiment being lifted is great. And basically the experts go, are you happy really? Let's play back this video.
No sexual sparks flying for me at the moment.
I didn't have massive sexual energy with her when I met her. I just didn't have a spark of, I want to have sex with this girl ASAP.
I'm not talking to you, Lauren.
Yeah,
Shut your mouth. Can you muzzle your woman?
He kind of lightly smacked my butt. And then the second thing was when we were at the dinner party, he like kissed my neck.
You had the audacity to walk in and go, oh, what are the whales here today?
That video is a rough watch. It is a rough watch. All of it's stacked back. Like, Jack is terrible. He looks really fucking bad. And he is really bad. Tori is also not great. Rough watch. She's obviously emotional and upset. But I kind of get why she wants to go, because they're not showing any interest in whether they actually have any potential to do well. All of their questions are basically saying, how can you be with this guy? And it's like, you paired her with him. Like, you need to be rooting for them at least somewhat. So Tori actually gets up and goes, yeah, look, I want to go. And I kind of stand with her. I get why she wants to go. What can she possibly gain from just going through the past stuff, especially if no new things have happened?
After all of that confronting footage you've watched tonight of your intimate partner, do you sit there now with any reservations?
In all honesty, not at all, no. It has no impact on our relationship. It doesn't affect us. And let me tell you, the best time I've had with Jack is when we've been away from this. And the minute that we come back to this, it turns into an absolute shit fight.
I just found it a really weird section because, yes, as a viewer, it's really fun to rewatch all these like montages. But yeah, I think their criticism and their insights afterwards really didn't offer a whole lot and was basically going over the same topics that they've buried in the past. I didn't love it. I thought the experts kind of fumbled this. On top of that, I didn't think the experts did particularly well with Tim and Sara either. Tim opened up, did his explanation. Sara opened up and did her explanation about why she freaked out. And instead of giving them any advice, they just went, yep. All right, anyways, let's watch your videos. I know this is the final commitment ceremony and they're obviously not going to continue monitoring these couples, but it just felt really weird to get these people like bare out their souls just to be like, yep, cool. Anyways, videos. There were a lot of couples that were skipped. We didn't hear from Cassandra or Tristan, Andrea or Richard. We didn't get any Colin's cringe. Super disappointing. Except for this weird moment where in Tim's video, he mentioned that he'd lost his mum, his dad and his brother. Everyone's quiet and respectful and then you just hear Collins go, wow. Shut up, Collins. Like, why? Only other things to really note, Jaden and Eden are still together. Cool. Like, they seem happy, but also, like, behind the scenes, I've heard that they've broken up, like, 4 times and got back together. And then after this whole show, apparently Lauren got Jaden to touch her boob while they're at a nightclub. So, like, okay. I don't know. For me, Jaden and Eden, after that whole conversation where Eden was saying she was having an anxiety attack and Jaden fumbled it so fucking hard, like I've never really recovered from that. I can't really see them as a particularly cute couple. Maybe that's for me to figure out, but yeah, I just saw like such a high level of incompatibility there. And I think that's the difference between Jack and Tori and Jaden and Eden and all these other couples is Jack and Tori are awful, but I'm not going to pretend that they're not compatible. Like they do kind of work well. She seems to enjoy how condescending and patronizing he is. Oh my God, I love that quote where she says, Jack is so logical. I have never met anyone with more logic. And I think the reason I like that wording is she doesn't say it's good logic. She doesn't go, oh, he's just on point and he ends up being right all the time and I know he knows what's best for me. She just went, Jack's really logical. I've never seen someone with so much logic. That almost sounds like a backhanded insult. Such funny wording. Why did we not get Ali on the couch? Why did we not get Ali and Ben on the couch? In fact, you know what would have been hilarious? Imagine if we got Jono and Lauren on the couch and then they went, all right, we've had Jono and Lauren. Now, Jono and Ali. Like, that would have been so fucking funny if Ali just like swapped in. But also like really strange that they didn't really talk to Ali at all. Also, I do need to say, I believe Ali when she said she missed the hello from Lauren, but what I don't believe is that excuses anything. Like, yeah, sure, maybe you missed Lauren saying hi. Why did you not go say hi at all or apologize? In fact, is it Jono's job, given the fact that he was with Lauren? Yes, Jono should have been the one to break the ice and go up to Lauren and be like, I apologize. However, Ali should have like sat there as a fellow woman and been like, oh, Jono's not saying hi. Okay, I'll go smooth it over. I'll be the brave one. But they're both just fucking children, particularly Ali, just an absolute child. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll do a full season review, go over my favorite moments, my least favorite moments, the biggest scandals next week. We did reach 2,000 subscribers and I said I'd do that. So next week, either Monday, Tuesday or Thursday, that should be out. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the support in these videos. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoy this, please subscribe. I will talk about more reality TV down the line. Have a lovely day. Thank you.